Hi, this is Steve and Malana. We just got back from a trip to Panama. We used to be missionaries there, and the people that we've known there asked us to return and to teach on marriage. It took 2 years for us to be able to have the opportunity to do that, but we finally were able to go. And when I taught on marriage there, the main idea was that I had four main messages. And the first message was that we are to come into the image of God. And the way that God had prepared for us to do that is through marriage. And by learning how to love one another, how to serve one another, how to become one in our marriage. And then I taught about love, because that was a topic that, of course, we all know about, but we got to get more deeply into it to understand really what it means to love in a practical way in a marriage. And then I taught about forgiveness. Now, these people have a little bit of a difficult time with it because, for instance, in their native language, the word forgive does not exist. So it's a concept that they can get, but to be practical about it is difficult. So we talked about forgiving others as Christ forgave us, and spent a lot of time, and there was a lot of discussion. And then I talked about mutual submission, how we are to submit to one another and to honor one another, and how we do that. And I went all the way through even to our sexual relationships. And so these were the topics, and they just really responded wonderfully to them. Right?
Some of the questions that were asked during our question and answer sessions were surprising to me because the depth and openness of the questions was beyond what I expected. They were asking questions very specifically about their sexual relationships. They were asking about how women are supposed to submit, the role of a husband, and how authoritarian he was allowed to be within the context of marriage. So a lot of really important questions. And surprisingly, these questions were asked in a group that contained their neighbors, their church members, and even their relatives. So it was an interesting time of discussion in that context.
Yes. And we wanted to thank you for your giving in contribution to this, because it was very generous. And because of that, all of our expenses were covered. We had, a nine-member team?
Yes.
Yeah, a 9-member team, which I told them that we would cover all the expenses. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't just Malana and I whose expenses were covered. We covered all of the expenses for the trip. And not only that, but we were able to bless them because they had taken time off of their ability to earn income for this. And so our translators and the other folks that came with us, we were able to bless.
It was surprising to me that 2 of the women told me that they had left their families home with no money and no food. And, their culture allows a lot of inter-family reactions. So they had cousins and aunts and uncles and grandparents around. But still, they said God told them they should go and God would take care of them, and they came with peace. So when we realized that we had enough money to give them the equivalent of a month's wages when we finished the trip, it was a blessing to us to be able to bless them, because they had committed themselves to ministering to the point of, leaving their own children with nothing.
Yes. And these couples that came with us were very important, because I spoke in English, my translator spoke in Spanish, and then it had to be translated again into their language, WounMeu. So that's where all the discussion took place, was in that language. And then they would report back in Spanish to my translator what they said, and my translator would give me a summary. And that's how it went back and forth. And they were absolutely, totally invaluable to this ministry.
Yeah.
So we just want to thank you again for your generosity, and they're looking forward to inviting us back. And
we look forward to going.
We look forward to going.
Yes.
Thank you very much.